Hello everyone, this is Altar, and this segment is here to let you know that after about a year of producing content for Offworld Trading Company, Mohawk Games contracted me out to do some QA consulting work for them. This video was made during the time that contract was active. Thank you for listening. Please enjoy the video. Alright, on that note, hello everyone and welcome to game number 1 in our best of 3 series between Yerand and Galactic Wino. King Morgan gives the edge, very slight one he says, over to Yerand this time, but I kind of want to lean toward Wino, and the reason for that is, if you look, Wino has been playing a ridiculous amount of games. Like, he is...
Yes. I ran up against him last night on FFA, and it's like, oh, he's pretty good. Who's this? Oh, no.
I know, right?
I mean, look, the edge is tiny. Absolutely tiny difference between the two of them.
It's better that we disagree about this, though, right? That way there's controversy, and one of us can be right at the end of it, me, and then I can make fun of you for how wrong you were. It'd be fantastic.
Yeah, keep kidding yourself.
Exactly. So, Scavenger for Yerand, which does, you know, both of us, I think, agree that Scavenger, very powerful in 1v1, wins most of its games. Yerand takes that spot for 32k.
Odd found from Wino there. I'm not sure if that was a misclick or...
I think that was intentional. I think this is Wino trying to just kind of position himself in the midst of some powerful resources. You see, he's got water not far away. At least he was probably hoping to get that high. It was never going to happen with Yerand having founded Scavenger, but he's got still other sources of water available. Basically, he never committed to one area, so he couldn't be completely blocked off from his resources easily. He's also kind of close to an extra high iron tile. Well, everything's a moderate distance, and nothing is all too far, I think was the idea here.
Yeah, I would have thought I'd have given myself just a couple of tiles off, just to the south east.
Over near the water aluminum patch?
Well, yeah, just a couple of tiles, because then get some wind turbines on the edge there.
I think I agree. I mean, he could get wind turbines where he is. I mean, plenty of room for those this game, right? And Yerand has completely destroyed the carbon price already. I want to point out $2.
That could prove problematic.
Yeah, that is not the kind of carbon price you want. Thankfully for Yerand, he's already got farms established, but I think this was probably a mistake, honestly. You go into reactors, it kind of uses this carbon that you're not using all that much. Reactors produce more resources, those resources extremely valuable, especially once you've identified the fact that your opponent has a lot of shipping lanes going on early in the game. He's having to ship all 3 of these primary resources already.
Well, we've seen the fuel spike here, haven't we? That's gone up and increasing as we go every time, and the longer those reactors stay frozen, the higher it's going to get.
Absolutely. Would have loved to see Yerand go into reactors earlier. He's actually going to swap his carbon into reactors now. I like this play, but thing is, it's still, the reactors are in a bad spot. He's going to have to get rid of them in the future in order to get more carbon. Very, very awkward. Would have liked to see him establish those so he could keep them online. That keeps fuel a little low, allows an easy late transition for Yerand into the chemicals that are being consumed by the neutral colony right now.
Yeah. I mean, he's got plenty of carbon patches he could go into, but missing out on the high and the medium is...
Exactly.
Not ideal.
No, not exactly what you want to do. That said, Yerand's still off to a nice, solid lead when it comes to upgrades this game. He's got himself a little geothermal claimed, and he's going to have access to the best water on the map very, very easily. I'm a little concerned, almost. I mean, 3 claims to water for a Scavenger with no bribe claim. With no bribe claim at all. I mean, this is a huge investment, I would say.
They can go into... If he had to, he could transition them into wind turbines. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a big commitment.
Yeah, the wind turbines are a fair point. That he does have something he can do with these tiles, and he has gotten the only geotherm on the map.
He has, not that he's using it.
Yeah, having access to those wind turbines, I think, is potentially going to be valuable. Well, that's a freeze.
That's unsurprising, to be honest. Is he going to help the price of water up a little bit? Yes. Yes.
Excellent. It's good by Wino to go ahead and just raise that price as much as he can. Since Yerand does not have a water stockpile established, I mean, Yerand's just... He doesn't have the farms on. He could have the farms on. Still be a little bit valuable at the moment. Oh, and then the dust storm kicks in and kills that idea instantly. So just working on these reactors right now.
Yeah, I think Wino's come back nicely. He's well until the
and yet he's
EMP.
still up against a scavenger.
Yeah, that's it. Too much black market. But then your
one
man's
thing
going to have... Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, and one thing we hadn't looked at, you mentioned the black market just a moment ago. One thing we haven't really talked about is look at this black market. This is not a black market that I really want to be a scavenger on.
It's not ideal, is it?
I mean,
But then...
hologram spy, those don't cost your cooldown anyway. So then you're talking for like consistently useful aggressive things. You've got literally EMP.
Yep, and of course the nice magnetic storm there. That could seeing as Wino's shipping things in.
We've
that
got
could
pirates.
Be... Oh,
Pirates
as
and
well.
network virus.
Oh, is that
what
network
we're
virus?
Yeah,
Oh, it is.
That's what we've got. But these things, they're all a little bit more like EMP is the one that's pretty much consistently going to pull some kind of value, right? Like you can pretty much always find somewhere to EMP your opponent. Everything else is a little bit more niche, just a little bit harder to use. They're still useful. Pirates are still useful. Dynamite is still useful. Network virus can be useful, but it's just nothing. All you got really for the consistency is that EMP ready to go.
Yeah. It's quite even. Galactic Wino maybe having the edge here. I think he probably will get to HQ 40, so yep, he's got his upgrades.
One thing I am really concerned about for Wino, though, is his debt. He's already about 100,000 in debt, holding on to a B rating. Oh, this auction, too. With this auction, Wino wants this.
Yeah. Both of these players, I'm sure, will want it.
I'm really concerned, actually. If Wino had a more reasonable amount of debt, if he had gone into a bit more power, if he'd gotten down solar panels, perhaps, instead of maybe going for this third reactor, he had some options here to kind of control things. Year-end, I don't know if letting that go for 20k is appropriate.
It's not appropriate at all.
Dynamite in the game, up against an expansive player who is already rushing ahead in upgrades. The ability to transition into an off-world market without too much difficulty. You want that thinking machines to help bolster yourself and just prevent the expansive player from having it.
It's a bit of confidence as well as having it. If you know you've got it in the bank, then you maybe sail a little bit closer to the wind than you would usually.
And I would almost forgive, I think, letting thinking machines go here if circuit overloads were available this game. Just start trying to plunge Wino into massive amounts of debt, because that's really like your game plan moving forward at this point, right?
Yes.
It's just
definitely
get him into debt. He's already so deep. The interest tick is going to really hurt Wino in a moment here.
Yeah, he needs to do. Yeah, well, he's got another turbine going down, which will help. But...
Oh man, he's in D before the interest.
Oh,
Wino may not get a hold of his debt in time.
30%. He's paid a bit off, but
okay. He got to the 20.
Tick's going to take him though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's going to be painful. $26,000 extra debt because of that tick. He has to pull up. Oh, he's only 4k away from C rating. It is worth noting, but still. That's just C, and you have so much further to go. Power's still been going up almost this whole time.
Power's not come down, has it?
Not surprised, just disappointed in you.
Dynamite being tossed back and forth between these players. This is just ridiculous.
To me, to you.
Oh, man. Especially with that new Goon Squad sound effect that I probably enjoy a little bit more than I should.
I didn't like it at first, but it's definitely grown on me.
It grows on you, doesn't it? It's like,
yeah.
It's just ridiculous. Man, those chemicals. But fuel's never come down. Like, these guys are just shipping so much, and I think this has really hurt Wino across the course of this game. Even as an expansive player, finally, Dynamite lands.
Success at last.
Oh, man. Right onto that wind turbine.
I would have... Thinking about it, I'd almost have liked to see Wino go for a robot. Get some decent power down and play that out as robot rather than expansive. But...
Definitely could have been a strong option, and especially considering we talked about Offworlds, touched on them for a moment earlier. Offworld prices didn't really start that great this game. They're doing okay. There's one shipment that could be valuable, but That's just because oxygen is down at like $17 because these players are trying so hard to produce fuel. Water engine picked up for Wino. That's potentially very useful.
Yes, that's a very good one to pick up. But of course, water is high at the moment, and it's going to get higher and higher and higher.
I mean, water's high at the moment, but it's still 140, 150 cheaper than fuel. It's going to keep rising for the time being, and Wino's going to need to secure a lot more water to make this worthwhile, but if he can get to 5.
Yeah, but his turbine's down, he's got no power coming in.
My biggest concern is this steel.
Oh, that's looking like a transition, definitely.
I mean, this could be glass production, this could be chem production, now that fuel is going to be dropping like crazy because he's not consuming so much of it anymore. Could be just simple power, for all I care. Steel is definitely hurting him right now, I'd say.
Get a few, well, a couple of solar panels down there at least. Maybe pop into... Yeah, solar panels and glass.
Wino calls GG. He knows this interest tick is just going to absolutely ruin him. And he's just going to give it up. I can accept that, honestly. Huge mistake in the steel mills, I would say. Huge mistake in how he handled power. Getting into these farms, I think, was a massive mistake. Just, like, consistent, serious problems for Wino on hitting HQ4. Didn't handle it well at all.
No, it definitely didn't go his way. And once the dynamite landed on his power, then it was just tick-tock, tick-tock.
Absolutely. Man, dynamite, it was a good job from Yerand. Yerand, I think, really wanted to go ahead and close that out quickly.
He wasn't in the best position, I didn't think.
No, and if Wino had managed to survive, if Wino could have survived his debt, he's got thinking machines going forward, he's still an expansive player, not a great black market to use against him. I think Wino takes that easily if he just doesn't fall out of this game to his debt, but of course, that's not the way it went.
No, so easy to die to debt.
Gotta be so careful. If we just look at the balance sheet, I want to go over to production of Wino. Purchased $97,000 worth of power. Purchased $65,000 worth of fuel.
Yeah,
that'll do it.
Yeah, exactly. And water, another 55k he bought, but he did sell 49, so balances out, I suppose.
Yeah, water kind of was all right, but he was putting so much of that buying water into making fuel, so he didn't even have to purchase it. I mean, this is not counting anywhere all of his fuel production that was disappearing to pay for his freighters. Big problems.
That's it. It's transport killed him.
Yeah. Transport and power. I mean, both of those things combined just didn't handle debt well, that game, I'd say. Okay.
No, not at all.
That's the entire story of that game, really, so I think we can go ahead and move on into game number 2. All right, hello everyone, and welcome to game number 2, best of 3 series between Yerand and Galactic Wino. Yerand taking game number 1, not through anything super impressive in his own right, more Galactic Wino. Just kind of Yerand sits back and lets Galactic Wino just suicide on fuel and power last game. Still nicely done to identify that as a problem for his opponent and let him kill himself, realistically. So, nice first win over to Yerand.
I think Yerand was quite grateful for that.
After a kind of awkward little crater he ended up in. This game, once again, taking Scavenger and taking it early. 30,000 debt for this game.
Expansive column founded.
Which is interesting. I kind of like the idea of getting a lot of iron early for Wino. I actually would not mind seeing Wino. He's going to go into a metal mine and a steel mill. Might not have minded just seeing 2 metal mines out of him. And just on iron. 3 metal mines. 1 aluminum, 2 iron. Sell that down, buy up steel at first.
Yeah, that would be a very valid start.
Just iron starting up at that $40. Always important to pay attention to.
Yeah, easy money, really. But he's gone 1 steel mill, 1 iron mill.
It'll work out okay, I think. But again, expansive and again, scavenger. You kind of wonder if these players are both just, if this is what has happened to be strong on this map, in their opinion, or if they're kind of trying to play into their comfort zones right now.
I wouldn't identify Scavenger as Yerand's comfort zone, to be honest. He always goes robots. He's Mr. Robot, as far as I can see.
Yeah, I would generally agree. Yerand, I think, identifying that Scavenger is strong in 1v1, whereas Galactic Wino, it feels like in some ways he's been trying to pick up the pieces after Yerand places so early, taking on a large amount of debt.
He's still potentially in a very good situation, though.
Potentially. I'm worried about Wino, though. With power surges available to Yerand here, he's going to hit HQ3. It's HQ3 to HQ2. Power surge is ready to go. Yerand may just be waiting to see if where Wino develops his buildings, and then just be ready to start shutting down with that black market.
Yeah, Wino's going to have to split, no question. And he's far?
Heading into reactor now for Yerand. Yeah, and we're going to see a farm out of Wino, along with one more steel mill.
Oh dear. I don't like that very much.
Yeah, pair of farms, pair of steel mills. Well, this is a nice way to go ahead and split his production against the power surges, potentially. He also goes ahead and grabs a goon squad, it looks like. Well, power surge where? On the water. Don't mind that at all.
No.
Not with these farms down.
He's bought... Yerand's jumped in and bought up a load of water as well, just to rub it in.
Yeah, just auto-selling oxygen and fuel as fast as he can. Well, sold down a bunch of water as well at this point. He's wanting to head into this glass shortage on the way. He thinks he'll get more of a benefit from having a lot of glass during this shortage. Understandable decision, but it does give his opponent easy access. Well, now Yerand's just jumping around everywhere, being indecisive.
Well, he's got his upgrade glass, hasn't he, while it's reasonably cheap before the shortage hits.
Very important to do.
And more importantly, though, he's shutting Wino out of his food. Which, without food, Wino's going to find it very difficult to buy that expensive glass now.
Absolutely.
But he has got some glass in stock, though.
I would call that a mistake, though. Yerand just being a little bit distracted right now. I'm not sure it's going to matter, but Wino picking up a claim for 4,000 right there. That's a nice little boost for him, but oh man. HQ4 to HQ2, and Wino, I don't think he's anywhere close to 3.
No, he's nearly there. No, he's not.
No, he's got a lot of resources locked up in these farms right now. He's trying to get water and food online to be able to press through.
Yeah, this Yerand's good use of the black market early on really throws a spanner in the works.
And Wino, I think we can see him overcorrecting a bit for his debt before. Getting up a geotherm, HQ2, even as an expansive player, that's very expensive when you're already behind on upgrades.
Yes, that's slowing you down quite a lot.
Yerand, on the other hand, no fear whatsoever from his debt. He's acquiring 420 a second, just kind of relying on powering through upgrades fast enough that he doesn't have to care. There it is. Finally, the geotherm's begun. Still going to be about a minute before that comes online, though.
It's still going to be hurting him for a little bit.
Still, though, only an A rating for that interest tick. Even afterward, he only just now falls to B, so just a 6%. That's very, very reasonable, realistically. Even with his large amount of debt, his HQ level's just so high so fast, it's not going to matter.
He's going to start boosting his reactors and farms any second now. Cheap water as well.
You think that's a little boost?
Yep.
I could see the Geo.
Oh, hold on. No. Yeah, he should. Yeah, no, you're right. He should boost the Geo. No question.
He's got it gooned, which is all very, very nice for him. Kind of get rid of that power price that his opponent. I'm actually very concerned that Wino hasn't gotten a boost on his own Geo at this point. I think he's been purchasing claims. I think you boost that geotherm out, get that power price down as Yerand's trying to get up his own geotherm plant. You're making money off power. You're stopping your opponent from paying down his debt. I think that's a big mistake out of Wino this game.
Yeah, he had an opportunity to, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Also, kind of like encourages your opponent. Maybe you want to try mutinying, you want to try the power surge, or maybe you just drop a spy, waste 3,000 on that to check. Could have been a nice little play. The solar panels, however, I do like out of Wino. Similar concept, but committed into a bit of an awkward location over here.
He's just put them down. That's odd.
I have no idea why those are out there, I'll be honest. Oh, 20,000 for that. I'd have been really tempted to let that go for 18. Not making any money off power anytime soon now.
Nope.
double mutiny. I like it.
Yeah, nicely played.
Now, nighttime isn't all that far away. We're about halfway through the day at this point, but that's still going to be a lot of money away from Wino and a lot of debt paid down for Yerand. You can see he's paying down about 800 a second right now. It's going to be very comfortable.
Yeah, he's bringing it back quite nicely. He's still got a fair bit of debts. But
70,000, I think you're going to be very comfortable with that. You're starting to push toward that double A rating. Interest rate, I believe, is about 4% at that point. Not a problem whatsoever. Unlike this glass kiln.
she's putting that.
$93 being lost per second. It just keeps going up. The surplus will help, but this thing is still just sitting here burning away Wino's money. Never.
Ouch.
So, I put up a tutorial recently, we'll just have a second to talk about this, called Adjacency and You. And in it, I assert that a player should, especially a new player, should never put down a single secondary building. Never put down a building that consumes resources on its own. Always have a pair.
Definitely.
And this is why. This is so dangerous. You're only making half a glass per 0.25 oxygen and 1 silicon. And without those adjacency bonuses, those efficiency bonuses that come along with them, very, very painful and basically unusable is what this building became.
No, it's just, like you say, it's losing money. It's pointless.
It could honestly be network virused along with this hacker array, and we could see some really interesting things going on.
I'd like to see that.
Actually, I would actually really enjoy a virus on the farms right now. Just make him make the food. Just make him consume the water, and then he can't rotate those tiles.
Yeah, you're going to lock those 3 tiles up, aren't you? I mean, $8 food is, well, rubbish.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. Just, these players really effectively killed food this game.
Yeah.
$4 food. Yerand's struggling a lot more than I expected him to at this point. He's got a lot of silicon saved up. Going into an electronics shortage. Electronics up at $423, of course, because the neutral colony is Russian this time. Building machine shops, consuming large amounts of those electronics. I don't mind this, but I wonder if there's better things he could do here.
Yeah, I think there's got to be something better to be done with it. But it's not the worst thing. I mean, he's making $120 per unit per electronics factory, so...
Well, let's see. Yerand does have a spy down on these solar panels. Not really going to be getting much done with those anytime soon, unfortunately. Wino might, if he can scrape the money together somewhere, he might want to spy on top of this hacker array, but it's worth noting that Wino, he has no money. Still in 3 steel mills, despite steel's $9 price. He's got 160 of that saved up. And he just has nowhere to make money, realistically. He can't make glass. He can kind of make electronics, but Yerand's kind of cutting him off from that with this ridiculous carbon price.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Well, all it takes is one little power surge, and those electronics are dead.
Yeah, power surge cuts those off, and they're just not making all that much right now against this carbon price from Yerand. Just something to be concerned about. Yerand did transition over to a silicon shortage. I like this much better than the electronics shortage. Silicon, he's got a lot of it saved up already. He doesn't have to try and make electronics.
No, I think you're right. That's a far better play than messing about in electronics.
I always love getting a hold of a silicon monopoly. If you can pull it off, it's so surprisingly powerful sometimes. That's exactly what Yerand's got here.
Yes. But with the price of carbon and the price of silicon, you could just hack one after the other. And I'd be laughing all the way to the bank.
Absolutely. Mutiny onto this carbon tile. Of course, Yerand is holding that carbon price up a fair amount. He's got 340 stored up right now, but I don't think even 340, that's not going to quite be enough to truly knock this price all the way down. I like the boost onto electronics. Also hits the hacker array, shorting carbon right now. A little bit odd to short carbon while producing electronics, increasing the price of those, but
price manipulation
he's sold out, isn't he?
Yeah, no electronics. Yeah, he's shorting carbon now. Got a lot of carbon stored up, 500 of that. Wino still just struggling in his corner. The great thing about this carbon play is that, once again, it's just closing all these potential doors for Wino to try and pull back into the game. You can see Wino just doesn't have cash on hand to defend himself right now.
No, he's stuck in a rut again.
And this is really what you do in a 1v1 Offworld Trading Company game if you can. This is why I love the hacker array as well. It just kind of boosts this mentality of, my opponent has never gotten enough territory to really secure a strong line of production for himself. So I'm just going to keep closing all these doors he's trying to open for himself to proceed through this game. And I absolutely love that decision out of Yerand this game. Sticking on 4, getting a hacker array, getting a bunch of cash together, and then just going for the kill.
Yeah, it was definitely the right play to finish it quickly.
And that's exactly what he does. Majority buyout onto Wino. Very different from a lot of these games that we see. This is how you can tell we're kind of up with high-level players at this point. Games aren't dragging out. One player gets a small edge and then just destroys the other player with it. And that's some very high-level play right there out of Yerand. Always keeping an eye on those markets and what his opponent is doing. Making sure he can't produce anything effectively.
That's it. He got slightly ahead. He got his nose in front, and then bang, I'm going to manipulate the markets, and I will decide where I make the profit from. Unfortunately, Wino just couldn't compete. He was playing catch-up all the time. Every time he hopefully moved into something, it just fell apart.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done by Yerand. Strong 2-0 victory over to him, as some of the players in chat were calling, and of course yourself. You gave it to Yerand.
Yeah, I thought we'd have gone for 3 games though.
Yeah, I expected the 3 games too. Wino just seeming to struggle a little bit. Maybe a little bit too much time stomping on noobs, and then a real player comes in and
yeah, it is tough.
Says, I'm much better.
But again, it's so difficult once your opponent goes scavenger, and there isn't another scavenger spot that you could take for yourself. It is hard, because that scavenger, especially if they use the black market effectively to start with, they're just shutting you down, and that crucial early game, you've got to get up and running quickly.
Now, we saw Expansive twice against the scavenger, and I have to say, personally, I think Expansive is the worst colony to use when you think when your opponent has already dropped scavenger.
Yes.
And
yeah, it is.
There's a lot of reasons for that. Basically, each other colony has some advantage they can exploit to kind of aid themselves against the scavenger. The robotic has 2 advantages, in my opinion. You're not consuming life support, so that's a little bit less money in the scavenger's pocket when he goes into those life support resources early to make money. Because he's going to want to get food. He's going to want to get reactors down. You're kind of like stopping that by not using fuel, oxygen, and food. And then you also upgrade quickly, so you can't be quite so easily shut out of the markets as we saw this game back on HQ3.
Yeah.
And then scientists, of course, they're just straight up resistant to the 2 most powerful, arguably the 2 most powerful effects on the black market, the EMP and the power surge. Also, once again, hard to shut them out of the market. Expansive, on the other hand, is slow, needs to push to late game to be effective, and the scavenger is all about killing you before the game ever gets to that point.
Yeah, you've got the tools with scavenger, haven't you, to shut your opponent down. And I mean, if you get 2 quick power, if you're in a position that you can buy 2 power surges one after the other, shut down one side of his base, shut down the other side, it's so hard to come back from that.
Definitely. Also, we saw a lot of adrenaline boost this game. Always love seeing the adrenaline boost as a scavenger. You can get so much use out of it.
Yeah, especially if power's high as well. It's always nice. Boost your power, give you a little leg up.
It was well done by Yerand, and I think perhaps just not counterplayed appropriately around by Galactic Wino. He was always going to be struggling on these maps when he wasn't willing to commit to the scavenger found quickly. But I think there were some things that could have been done better to hold on and maybe push for the late game, especially in Game 1, where we just saw it with simple debt causing the problem more than anything else.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it wasn't the best play out of him, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. Still though, guys, if you wanna learn about 1v1, I would say this is another one of those games that you take a look at and see exactly how easily you can exploit a small edge over your opponent.
Yeah.
It was very well done by Yerand this game. Very different from the first game where Yerand kind of let Wino destroy himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, this time Yerand really took the sword to him, didn't he? A very positive play, I thought.
Yeah. It was well done.
But I think Yerand does make a good point in chat that both the games, there is one winning position really on this map, and that was the position he took, and he was prepared to take the debt on to take it. We've seen it on a few maps, haven't we? There's one good settling spot, and the rest, well, you're just scrambling to make it up unless you've got a great play in mind and a play that you can really go and commit to. You're going to be struggling against that first found.
For sure. I really struggled to support the slow start of Expansive in 1v1.
Yeah, I think he probably would have had to get robots, I think.
I think that was his only option, yeah. After you get beat to the Scavenger, first of all, you can take the Scavenger a little earlier, because you have an idea from last game about exactly how much Yerand's going to value that. You can't go into the Geotherm, absolutely, I think. But in general, you can go robot.
Yeah, robot, a couple of panels, or maybe some turbines, depending on the price of each. And that would be the way to play it, I think.
Yeah, I think that would have worked out in general much better. So
it would have given him a better chance, I think.
Mm-hmm.